affiliates are better at the creative side because it's also more challenging because you're investing your money, you need to make it work, and you need to succeed like on a first day purchase essentially.
Pinterest is profitable when you crack it. You know, I would say more so than Meta.
All right, everyone, we have a special return guest, Mr. James Van Elswyk.
What's up, brother?
Thanks for joining me here in Medellín, Colombia with Esteban Torres,
Thank you for coming.
who everyone's going to learn a lot about in the next hour or so. So, guys, where do we start? With Esteban's backstory, what led us here today, why we're sitting, maybe even just remind everyone why Medellín is a special place to you.
Yeah, I mean, I came to Medellín to stack money and learn Facebook.
What year?
In 2014 or 15, so about 10-year anniversary. Very interesting to kind of compare where my life was then and my life is now. So Medellín got a good like start popping for me, and I'm down here to see my partner, Esteban. We're working on some different stuff, and he lives here in Colombia. So John also is here. A lot of good marketers are here, so we linked up.
And you're not Colombian, so...
No, I'm actually from Argentina. Been living here in Medellín for 4 years now. Like long story short, started an agency back in 2019. An ecom, we did a Shopify development, Facebook ads, Google ads, where I started that in Argentina. Then COVID hit, so we started working a lot on ecom development. There's a lot of businesses in Argentina and Colombia that were transitioning to a digital space. So after that, grew teams here, doing media buying, like growth marketing in general. And then always wanted to work with US companies. I felt like the biggest players were there actually. So always wanted to like jump there. And then after that, started working for a 9-figure DTC in ecom, really huge company. So yeah, like after I was actually going to work for and run Facebook ads for them. Then the non-meta guy that was working there, which is like running Google, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, all of those channels like quit. Then I got...
As you started?
Yeah, that's how I actually started. So didn't know anything about like all those channels. Didn't know anything about Pinterest. Didn't know anything about like YouTube. Some search stuff like that, super basic here. So it was like a huge jump. And it was basically like trying to crack all of those channels at once on a pretty huge volume. So that was fun.
With the last SKUs too, it wasn't just like one core product, I'd imagine.
No, we had a couple of products, yeah. So we have like acquisition products. We run like the most spend. So essentially was trying to figure out like how to crack each of the products on each of the channels and like pretty much like leveraging all the channels all at once between Meta and everything else. So yeah, that was fun. Started with a little team, like we were 3, essentially like a media buyer, creative strategist, and myself, like trying to coordinate all the stuff there. Yeah.
What years was this specifically?
This was 2022, actually, yeah. So it was crazy, like super fast company.
And they were doing what kind of daily revenue when you first walked in?
So when I first started, I think it was like August, September, we were doing between all the channels, probably between like 60K, 70K across everything. Then
your expanded revenue.
Not including Meta, right?
Not including Meta. So that was like the channels that I had in charge actually. So it was like basically like, so essentially like we split between like the Meta team and the non-Meta team. Essentially, that's how like that the structure was placed in the first time. So yeah, Meta was like scaling like crazy. So we needed to actually build all the other channels because we wanted to have like healthy like diversification because on Facebook you never know if it's like someone
coming off the Facebook ban waves that everyone was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially, so Facebook started to get sometimes weird. I wanted to have like less risk, not having like everything set up on Meta, and the company was actually in the place where they could actually start test and diversify like different channels and try to leverage all of them. So yeah, that the best thing that I think I learned there was so I was running pretty much like a acquisition from the other channels essentially. So that was one of the biggest learnings. There's how to like profitable customer acquisition at scale. So that's
these guys built out a first drop shipping in your affiliate originally because I know there was So affiliate, then drop shipping, then like true brand, one of the biggest, even to this day.
Yeah, exactly.
The game you were playing, was it front end acquisition profitability, or did you have a target that they would calculate based on the LTV where you could run red?
Yeah,
So acquisition and knowing you'll make it back up in a month or two.
that's a really good question. So yeah, kind of you have to find out, like especially when you're doing like a 9-figure, there's a lot of stuff around attribution, for example. You need to figure out like how all the channels combined, like leverage each other. For example, how much YouTube has a weight on brand search, for example, and how TikTok does that, and how you fix, like, for example, they're like remarketing stuff from other channels. So take Meta. So everybody, like all the channels are working together. So essentially you need to, like, you set targets by channel, obviously. But yeah, you are like pushing at a certain like profit margin the acquisition side, because you know, like at a certain point, like how much of the LTV can cover like the retention side as well.
Hold it. More or less.
Exactly.
But the unknown is how much is the 50K day I'm spending on Facebook impacting the Pinterest or the Pinterest.
Yeah, exactly.
Then spend, how's that impacting Facebook? So how do you is there a way to even differentiate that? Because it becomes just one massive flow of traffic.
Yeah. So the best way is actually, so one of the most important stuff that they actually built was all the data tracking analytic stuff on the company. That was like the most impactful thing that they did, because then it's just like establishing hypotheses, like into what you said is, okay, what is the target for each of the channels? Because you can't set like specific targets by like the same target for each, because they have like different CPCs, they have different CPMs, they have different conversion rates. So that is essentially like having like a framework into how you're going to analyze stuff, like from the top to the bottom, into finding out that part. It's super tricky, like the answer actually, because it's a lot of attribution involvement, like how you're going to measure like 7-day click, 1-day click, in the long term, how each of them are going to behave. So for example, I know like we know YouTube tend to do more branding, more, not branding, but more positioning of the brand, which is a different feeling from the people that buy from TikTok, which is a more impulse-driven purchase. So you kind of like establish like certain hypotheses, and then you just let it run, but you set targets like by product, by channel, from the prospecting side, from the remarketing side. Like everything has like to have like a certain specific target to actually like make everything work. So yeah.
You've worked and become friends over the last 15, 20 years with a lot of guys on lead gen, pay-per-call, ecom, even digital offers. Have you seen anyone replicate at this kind of level with multi-channel like breakdowns? And what would you say is unique about what his experience has been with this company?
Okay, so only one time did I see a level of scale that allowed to see multi-channel data, and we were using Hyros. It was a lead gen offer, but it was at massive scale, and we could see like Snapchat looked like a loser, but actually people saw Snapchat and were converting on YouTube or whatever the combination was. I haven't really seen it that much in lead gen, I think, because in lead generation they just buy faster, so you're not dealing with as long of a buyer cycle, so that's like a little easier. But I not at that level. No, he's really shown us quite a bit, a nice kind of new skill set to kind of look at data. But no, I don't think I've ever seen lead gen kind of at that. I've never seen lead gen at that scale of business, one. And not very often on lead gen do you see people go like 5 channels, like at scale. So you don't really end up with as much attribution issues. And also, obviously, we're using like click trackers and, like as affiliates, right? We're using click trackers, we're using volume, we're using red track, we're using Everflow. So a lot of those things, like people converting 7 days later from this traffic source, we don't even get a chance to kind of work on that.
I don't think it.
No, we always get paid off the first click, or the last click. That's it. So no, I haven't really seen it.
Which is an important thing about like, for example, for us, we always focus on, we actually wanted to focus on doing like 1-day click purchase as like the main metric actually. So we were like pushing all the performance specific results on a one-day click, but then seeing that leverage, for example, on the retention side. Also because that is also an issue that you may experience doing like a 9-figure, which is how much of the stuff that you're scaling on prospecting and new customers is also being received by the guys that are already purchased, like the retention side. So you always have to, on that level, that there's a certain like key metrics, like, okay, how much do you consider, like what is the time lapse for a retention customer, for example? Is it 1 year? Is it lifetime? Stuff like that, because then you're going to have like different targets for retention and acquisition based on that as well.
So that's one thing that's really different as well, is that on the e-commerce side versus the lead gen side, like lead gen, people do kind of convert a second time sometimes. Like they might fill out a solar form and they didn't buy and then they fill it out again. But like with e-commerce, people that bought from you the first time will see your ad again and then buy a second time. So it's not like a new customer. It doesn't really have kind of the same value. Right. So you need to kind of like retool your thinking. Like, what is your cost to acquire a new customer? And then how much credit do you give for a customer that you basically already acquired, but you push them to buy again? You know, which is like another kind of thing.
It's a sale versus a customer.
Yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of stuff like that because the lifetime, the amount of time that a person is interacting with your brand, interacting with your ads before they buy or when they rebuy, it just doesn't happen on lead gen. So it's a much more complex thing. We were talking about it. I think e-com's way harder than lead generation. You know, it's much harder to get someone to pull a credit card out for $30 than fill out a form for $30. You know, it's a lot more complex. But there's a lot of like fun levers, but it's definitely more complex.
How do you, because you're the Wizard of Oz working the system more or less, because you're with the creative team, you're with the media buying team. How do you not let the complexity overwhelm you? And what do you focus on to produce outcomes?
Systems and frameworks are the main thing. So when you're running on that volume, so you always need to focus on the 2080 on each of the platform, basically, on each of the stuff that you are doing. So like the way that I approach it is, you definitely need a system and to be consistent on that system, like on the creative side, on the media buying side, like have a framework for how you're going to run media buying. So for example, like, okay, which are the stop loss rules for all the creative testing that you want to run, how much you can scale, how much you need to descale on a certain days, for example, and then build all that the structure for the media buying team and then for the creative team as well, which is like, okay, what is it that we need and what is working and what is not, and just like focus on, okay, you need to analyze like what is working, iterate on what is working, push new stuff to get to newer audiences as well. So kind of like a building system for each, which on the biggest scale is basically like the creative side and the media buying side. And then you do need to do that by channel. So that is like when you start to pick up like each piece of that, you're pretty much like you need to do 2080 on each of those.
So one thing I got to say too about what he's brought to us that's been a big update is his planning for budget allocation and then also the meeting cadence, right? Like I showed some of my friends that are like super affiliates, whatever, and showed them kind of what we're doing. And it's like affiliate style marketing, but like on a corporate organized level. Like that's what he's brought.
Acquisition mindset.
Because direct response, let's pump, but like the cycling of this day is creative planning. This day is review. This is the day that we plan out the budgets for the week. Like there's just a more scalable, because he's a framework, playbook guy, system guy, meeting cadence guy, that it just creates a lot more stability, you know.
And that happens actually. So when performance starts to go down and then you go and deep dive that stuff, you essentially like say, you see how the system like pretty much like broke. So you went a different route on the creative side or you went a different route on the media buying side. So you need to like, okay, take a step back, see what was working, see what wasn't working, and like having like a deep understanding on that and just like building up again.
Adjustments. On the flight game plan.
Because since you are moving on a daily basis and you're making a lot of changes on a daily basis, you need to, exactly. So essentially like once you start to figure out like what's working, you double down and you scale. And essentially you find like a new like a level that you got to a certain channel, for example. So it's not the same running YouTube at 10, that is it to run it on 30, that is it to run on 50. Like the demand that you need for that channel on those levels are by day, I mean, it's very different to the requirements for TikTok, for example, between those levels. So you need to like understand like, okay, what is the created output, for example, for each of the channels based on the level of spend that you want to have. And also how all of them like feed each other. So let's take, I don't know, you have winners on TikTok, for example, and then you launch them on YouTube Shorts, which is essentially the same product but on a different company, which is also like the way Meta Reels work. So that is how you keep on like feeding between each other as well. So you need to have like constant communication between the guys that are running different platforms to figure out like how we are going to keep working together as well. So pretty complex structure, and keep it like to be honest, it's crazy, but it's also like the best way to learn actually. So yeah.
So if you had to strip away everything, what would you say are the main 2 or 3 drivers of performance and output?
So creatives and the offer, like always, like it
always comes back to that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have a great offer, it's going to be like the most important stuff. Then, and we were talking about this with James yesterday as well, which is like, okay, how important is the creative between the offer as well? And what I mentioned was that specifically for the acquisition side, like having like really, really, really good creatives is going to give you the scale that you need or you want to achieve. So the offer number 1, creative is second. How good are the creatives and how diversified you are is going to give you like different levels of spend and revenue that you can achieve. And then the framework, essentially, like how well you are operating those levers. I was about like how much you need to optimize the offer and how much you need to optimize the creators and how much you need to optimize the media buying to actually have it consistently on a high level of spend, because you're always trying to push and push and push. So you need to have like a way where you are actually pushing, but you are keeping on the same level. So it's not like, okay, I do 100K, but then I go to 20, but then I go 40. So
right.
Yeah, you need to have like a system that can actually helps you to reach certain level and stay there, and then figure out which is the next step to have it on the next level.
For specifically for e-commerce, as you were so deep in e-commerce for so long at a high level, with the creatives, what was the, I guess, framework would be the right question, because in lead gen, you could probably relate to this. We play on like mass iteration, right?
Yeah.
We want to take our 5 or 10 and multiply that out in combination.
Yeah.
Then slight iteration, variation, based up. So we walk away with like 100 some videos from 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So ecom, the same game.
Yeah.
How do you find it?
No, it's the same game. I mean, like the main difference that I see between like ecom and affiliate is like the way that I see it is like, I think ecom guys are better operators because they are handling like many things at the same time. So you need to like focus on, okay, what's going on the store, on the creative side, on email, like at CX, warehouse, like they are offering,
even if they're dropshipping.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like the ecom guys are like better on the operation. The affiliate guys are better on creatives, and that is like a personal view that I have actually on that side. So. But then specifically for like acquisition ecom or acquisition affiliate or affiliate itself, is like I think it's pretty much the same framework. You're trying to find the winners, you're wanting to scale the winners, and you are iterating around those winners and trying to find like new angles and new ways of selling. That is pretty much the same essentially. So yeah, I think like the ones that win on that game are actually the ones that have built the system and the framework to actually do it at scale. So yeah,
I do think though that because you need to get someone to buy in more to purchase on e-commerce, I think they build the video ads a lot better in e-commerce, because they have to like sell. You got to hit benefits. You got to solve a problem. You got to show features. You got to try to stay on brand. So there's a much kind of a lot more stuff that you need to fit into a storyboard than you do in lead gen. You know, and when he first came over and we started doing lead gen, we really had to like take the length and chunks down a notch on lead gen, because they were like, there's just so much selling, and people were like kind of, I don't know, turned off by it or whatever, but it didn't convert the same as like cutting it back. So I think like someone that can make sick ecom ads just crushes lead
Which is
gen.
very hard. That's not the majority.
No. But it also, he had to deprogram.
Yeah, so there's a big learning there for me personally as well, because when I transition from like ecom to lead gen, I actually need to switch the way that I was actually seeing the ads. So it's like the biggest thing for me on the acquisition side was actually video, which is for us was the main driver, and like figuring out and deconstructing all the videos to find out like, okay, what is it that work, what doesn't work, and so on. But on an ecom structure, then when you go like lead gen and affiliate, like you need to like pretty much like do the same thing. So you need to essentially like start all over again, like the way that you're seeing the ads. Similar frameworks in terms of like, the process you're going to iterate, you're going to try to find the winners and so on, but the way that you are seeing the ads and the structures, like Jen said, so it's not like a problem, solution, benefit, and then CTA. So just like the way that you're presenting stuff is kind of different. The way that you're shooting is not as perfect, for example, in each of the angles and stuff like that. It's more natural, it's more organic in lead gen. Yeah, exactly. So you're doing the setting on a more like a subtle way that you do on
lizard brain on level.
Yeah, I don't know if it's lesser brain, but because it's actually, for me, for example, in the beginning, it was actually harder to have that level of subtlety, I think, on the ads to actually make them, not selling, but I'm actually giving you a good opportunity that you should check out. So please complete this quiz and then just like go.
Or you're more direct in e-commerce.
Yeah, I love no direct. Yeah. And I think that actually like the way that the guys in the affiliate side, and lead gen side, so they basically what I'm trying to say is that the econ guy could actually take some learnings from the affiliate.
I think there's a huge opportunity there. We were talking about this yesterday.
I got to give credit to Esteban too. I worked with like a bunch of people. We brought on people that were like sick at D2C e-commerce that just couldn't switch over to being an affiliate or lead gen. Like, it's rare. Like, you'll see affiliates that switch over to ecom like super easy. Not super easy, but like much easier. Yeah. But like a lot of people come from a D2C e-commerce background and they just keep like trying to do the same thing, same structure. Like when you're a hammer, everything is a nail.
Yeah.
And Esteban really was like, he came out of the box. He tried really fully ecom style videos. He's like, well, that's not it. So let's really start to dig in on benchmarks, right? And I kind of gave the flexibility where I'm like, yo, maybe he's got something here with this ecom framework. Maybe that's the structure. The other thing that's interesting too, like, and we just kind of learned this the other day. It's like a growing relationship, right, between us and him, like kind of learning some different stuff on our side. But it's like there's a lot of like basic impetus to get people to do stuff in lead gen, like free consultation, programs. There's like a lot of that like language that we just know when you're writing copy. Boom, take the free quiz, the kind of the psychology behind it, where he was all like, I don't know why we're saying this. You know what I mean? Like he's learning now, like, what are the catchphrases? What do I need to say? What is the motivation? Because it is very different than e-commerce,
What would you say the benefits? I'd like to hear from both of you. What would you say are like the strengths and weaknesses of an affiliate versus like a successful e-com dropshipper brand owner that can drive conversion on both sides? Like what are the complements each other is lacking that could see?
Yeah. So I think like I said, like affiliates are, and this is my personal view, like better at the creative side, because it's also more challenging, because you're pretty much like you're investing your money, you need to make it work, and you need to succeed like on a first day purchase essentially. So it's
about TV. The room for error. Yeah.
There's no room for error. So you need to like really, really succeed on the creative side, and that is what is going to leverage the platform. I think that the affiliate side has that as the main thing, and then for the ecom, it's basically like I said, the frameworks. They can handle like different things. It's not only media buying, so you're just like analyzing different things all at once and trying to connect the dots pretty much on every place, which is like why I learned so much about like the systems and frameworks. But then I got the ability to do it on the acquisition side, which is the creative side. So that's like how I pretty much connected the dots there. Yeah.
What would you say being heavier on the lead gen affiliate
Oh,
side?
dude, I got a lot to say about it. Like a ton. As you mentioned, e-commerce, they are more well-rounded on the operation side because they have to handle so many different pieces. And I think the e-commerce world is just more developed as a business. With you get the opportunity to work for a sick D2C brand, you're going to learn about the application of corporate structure and organization to media buying. Where on the affiliate side, it's pretty rare that someone has like a proper chain of command. They have their schedules, they have budget allocations. It's more like launch, optimize, scale, right? Yeah, exactly. So I think that that's something that e-commerce really brings to the table. On the affiliate side, I think that one big thing for him has been seeing like volume and like a proper tracker, and pre-sale split testing has been like something new that like, I don't know why e-commerce brands do not use volume and just rotate pre-sales, rotate PDPs. You know, we when I started the skincare brand with my wife, I tried all the Shopify split testing tools and I was like, yo, none of these are going to work correctly. So I think like actually tracking and optimization and pre-sales is better on the affiliate side. But I think the plus and minuses on the affiliate side, it's a cash flow business, but you're not really building much. And on the brand side, well, and also you have a limitation of hours of operation usually for lead gen.
Kind of 24/7 on the weekends too, yeah.
Exactly. And then with ecom, you got 24/7 as long as you have inventory, but it's a little bit harder to sell, you know, but there's no cap. So there's kind of like balances back and forth.
Yeah.
I think if you can make a brand work, it's better for you in the long term. But from a cash flow point of view, I don't think anything beats affiliate marketing, you know, but it's just more stressful too.
Yeah, in other ways.
Yeah, and it's like you have to have a biz dev component. You know, you got to be able to get good offers. You need to be able to negotiate payouts. You got to make sure you're not getting screwed. You know, there's also like less capital constraints because like with ecom, you don't need to just float the spend, but then you got to buy inventory. So your cash flow management has to be better. Like there's a lot of pluses and minuses from both sides.
As you scale in the business too, right? Because that becomes even more important as you grow a brand versus just straight drop shipping.
Which still works.
Yeah. But if you have an inventory, I hate inventory. I think it's like the killer of a business. But planning that, like think about it. You crack a campaign as an affiliate, you're like scaled. There's no cap essentially unless there's buyer caps. You can just scale as hard as you want. But let's say you have limited inventory. Your shit hasn't been working. Now it is. You're like, fuck, I have great campaigns. Let's scale. And then you're like, yeah, but I got a 2-month wait on my inventory. And I need to hold back some inventory to take care of my subscription clients. It's a lot harder like that. You know what I mean? It's just harder, dude. Ecom is just harder. Yeah. For me, at least.
It's a sellable asset.
It's a sellable asset.
It's not higher levels, right?
Yeah. And it's cool, man. Like, it's very cool to have a great product that people come back and they buy it a bunch. It's something that you could really, like, be proud of, your relationship with the clients. Yeah. And you have remarketing, you have SMS, you have email, you have a lot of cool stuff that you don't have. But I've done both, right? I really think both of them are just 50-50 pluses and minuses. It just depends which route you want to go.
Pick your hard, right? Yeah. Which problem do you want to solve?
Or screw both of them and just do telehealth. Which is just better than any of them. I don't care.
Yeah. So multi-channel, you've run everything from TikTok to Facebook to, I don't know, Snapchat to Bula. I don't know everything you've run, right? But you've been on a lot of channels and you've done them at a high level. Let's take Facebook out of the picture because that isn't the only golden goose out there with traffic. What? Tell us more about other channels, like maybe like Pinterest, for example.
So Pinterest is interesting. There's not many people actually doing it, which is great on one side. So it was fun for me for like trying and actually like cracking it. There's more media buying involved on Pinterest from other platforms, but I think like the thing that I understood with Pinterest and also for other channels is like you need to understand first like the way people use it, and you need to out of that is going to be the way that you're going to run the creators and the media buying on the platform. So the Pinterest, for example, is so the way that I talk about is like the visual search engine. And that's essentially because when you go to Pinterest, you go to find like a, I don't know, like a recipes, like holiday gifts,
Furniture,
like,
clothes,
New Year's resolutions,
lists.
like tattoos and stuff like that. So just like you are having this idea in mind that you want to actually see and yeah, trying to see like different ideas there. So people actually like search it on Pinterest, which is a keyword at the end of the day, and that's how like you actually target people. So Pinterest actually has a really good tool for that, which is like the keyword Pinterest tool essentially. So one is that is one of the campaign types, which was fun for me to figure that one out, because once I understood like, okay, which are the key trending keywords, for example, on Pinterest, I could target those peoples, and I could adapt the message to that content as well.
Yeah.
And then that's how that was like one of the breakthroughs actually on Pinterest.
Have it as a search focus, not just
Yeah, exactly. So which is search focus, but with a social videos type. Which is like
And with a creative response to search. Like it's not like search, you get words. It's like search, you get images.
Yeah.
Which
Or
is like, or videos. Yeah, it's interesting, you know?
So that's how the way that you need to think about Pinterest. So once we understood that, essentially what we did is, okay, that's one type of campaign or a way that you can run on Pinterest. We didn't at the beginning have like a strong like creative team. Like I said, we like run like different channels. So we basically said like, okay, Pinterest run video on 4:5, 9:16 ratio. So let's take all the winners from Meta or from TikTok or YouTube Shorts, run them on Pinterest, but use the keyword tool and see that's what's all about. That's how like we started to make it work and to actually get it to scale. So that's one way. So you need to figure that one out. And then you have the creative side as well. So for example, like little details as you are scrolling on Pinterest, like the video actually shows up, not with it's autoplay, not with sound. So what you need to figure out on the hook is, okay, I need to make the hook visual. I also have like a really strong like copy on the hook so I can engage people. So those level of details, like once you figure that one out, you got the creative side and then running the campaigns there. So yeah, that took a couple of months to actually understand it and figure out like, okay, which is the foundation of the tool. And that's how we crack it. So yeah.
I think like, honestly, the way Esteban and I got together was I basically hired him as a consultant to teach me Pinterest. And like, dude, if you don't have someone kind of show you how to do it, it's so different than anything else. You're going to just burn cash. Like, I think it's a sick platform. To be honest with you, I really like it. I think it has a good algorithm.
super stable too. Once you
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It can
Work is super stable.
You know, like it's cheap traffic. I love the fact that it's a visual autoplay that's like super rare, but your ads totally like stick out. But if you don't understand the process to do the keyword stuff, like keyword selection and how long campaigns can run for certain keywords and stuff, it's going to be an expensive time to test out all the features because they have like a lot of different things that you can kind of test out. And obviously, like every channel, the reps are pushing you towards
their thing, their playbook, but it's often not.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, it's a visual discovery platform. So you got to do like a lot of brand and then engagement and then go to bottom of the funnel. But when you're like brand new to a platform, at first you're like, okay, like I don't know anybody that has ever scaled Pinterest before, right? I have one buddy, but he doesn't really share anything with me. I literally was like, dude, help me. I've helped you with so much shit, and he didn't help me, so whatever. But like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna launch some campaigns like you know how to do, and you're gonna launch some like the rep tells you. I've never launched campaigns that were based on keywords for visual search, right? Like that would have taken me forever to kind of figure that out. And he was just like, yeah, you just do this, this, and this, and that's like how it works, you know? So it's a pretty interesting platform. It's just, I think if more people were to like understand how to do it, I think it would be actually kind of a big platform. But it's just so tricky because it's not like the other ones.
But that's part of why you traveled here for this trip, right?
100%.
Focus on Pinterest as well.
Yeah, so I had seen the quality let's go through the relationship between Esteban and what we've been doing. So essentially, he came on as a consultant to help teach us Pinterest, and my media buyer and one of my partners on kind of more of our affiliate side was like, yeah, this dude is dope. Like, not just his information, but the way that he thought about stuff. And we had always been native focused, so really good at images, pre-sales, and copy. But we've always sucked at video. And my partner and I have been waiting for like almost 2 years to find someone that really understood how to systematically make good videos. Not just like they make videos and they work, but like, how do they do it systematically? So we met Esteban. We're like, shit, like this guy's great with video. He's great with all these other channels. He's super organized. Let's hire him. So he started working with us. And then we were like, boom, like, let's put him into a partnership position. Like, actually, let's get equity and like build this thing together. Right. So as we kind of went down the Pinterest rabbit hole, we built a lot of internal docs to train our buyers on Pinterest, right? And I'm like, dude, part of what I've always done is educate. When I know something, I educate. I think it comes back to us karmically. Yeah. I fully believe in that a candle loses nothing by sharing its flame. So I'm like, bro, let's take your internal training docs and let's turn it into a Pinterest course so other people can start to crack some non-meta channels, which I feel like is more and more important. Yeah. And especially if TikTok is going to go bye-bye, like whenever you're watching this, like TikTok announced like 3 days ago that they were going to close in the United States. So it takes another opportunity or another channel out, so you got to crack, I think you got to crack X, Rumble, Newsbreak. Natives are super difficult, hard now. Pinterest, like you got to find another place besides Facebook. And I think Pinterest for me is my fave.
It's cool. What are you most excited about with Pinterest as we're now in 2025? What about the platform gets you excited? Is it the results you've seen? Is the platform growing as a whole? Is there user base?
It's growing, especially with like Gen Zs. So they have a year-over-year growth of users, but they're really not having that increase in CPMs that match that growth, right? Like they're growing more users, but it doesn't look like they're growing more advertisers, right? Which is like kind of the key, because now that kind of
for people that can crack it.
Exactly. Dude, like, what do you think average CPM is on Pinterest?
In the $10 for.
I was gonna say, dude, it's like
2014, 2050, right?
It could be. Listen, it can be sub 10, and dude, it's not a bad algorithm. It's unique, right? Like once you turn a campaign off, the learning stops, and all the learning is like stored on a campaign level, right? So there's weird stuff. There's a delay on the conversion data. Like it's definitely different than Facebook, but the algorithm actually is pretty good. Like you can watch it optimize. So it's like cheap traffic, pretty good algorithm. They want your business. Like they're pumped to have people spending on their platform compared to Meta, where it's like, you're never going to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I'm a big fan of it. I always thought it was like not going to be able to scale. But then when I saw what Esteban had done, I was like, okay, well, this is legit. The other thing is, we always talk about, what do you spend per day? But there's also the return on ad spend. Pinterest has a really good return on ad spend. So do you care if you're spending 10K a day or 20K a day? You care about your profit, right? And Pinterest is profitable when you crack it. I would say more so than Meta.
What types of offers or like margin price point ranges would Pinterest be a good person for, or Pinterest be a good platform for?
Yeah, I'll take that one. It's definitely female focused. Like it's 70% females, 30% males. So anything that's going to work in that zone, obviously skincare, weight loss, you'll see VSL people on there that have kind of figured it out. Obviously e-commerce brands. As far as CPA, I always like something that has like a $50 to $70 CPA because I feel like it's cheap enough you can buy data affordably. It's not like you're mass tour $1 million CPAs that you have to waste so much money to figure it out. But it's still a high enough payout that you can have a margin, right? Like, I don't know how dudes run auto for like a $12 payout. Like, and you have to make like 1 million leads to make like $1 million, If you can run a $70 product or a $50 payout and get a 20%, it's $10 a sale. Like, it's still kind of juicy.
You can bake in your learning curve there too, right? Yeah, not lose your head.
Correct, because there's definitely a creative element. The other thing I think it's important is it's not a channel to be like, I can't crack Meta, so I'm going to try to crack it on Pinterest. That's not going to happen. Like Meta is still the easiest place, in my opinion, to crack an offer. But if you have something that works on Meta and you have like good creatives, I think it's like 70% probability that your good creatives are going to work on Pinterest. But you're not going to figure it out on Pinterest and take it to Meta. So I think you kind of already have something that kind of works, right? And I don't see a lot of lead gen on there. And it's either because people don't know, or it's just too female focused, or it just people have tried and it doesn't work. But I'm kind of leaning towards people haven't tried that much.
Yeah.
They haven't committed to making it work.
And I think like it's such a tricky platform. If you don't know how to do it, you're going to spend a lot of money to figure it out. It's like when people try to figure out natives, right? You're going to invest 30 G's, 40 G's, in my opinion, on natives to figure it out. Like maybe not in the old days when the traffic quality was better. They didn't give you like trashy publishers. But now if you're trying to crack natives, you got to learn how to do it. No one understands how to whitelist and blacklist without being taught that, right? And then you got to figure out how to use your tracker. Everyone starts out in platform because they run platform and Meta. And I feel like Pinterest isn't that hard because they don't have like trash traffic like natives, but it's not intuitive compared to running traffic on Meta.
Yeah.
It's not Facebook easy, but it's not native hard, is more or less.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And they have features that overlap, right? You know, like conversion plus, like, you know, they have bid caps. They have some stuff that overlaps. The biggest difference is the audience creation and the targeting.
search.
Correct.
That's super unique.
Yeah, you can do like interest, keywords, like there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So like 2080 is going to be greatest, but there's a bigger like media buying component and tricks that you need to figure out to actually scale. So
So there's multiple edges, not just being good at your offer creative, but it's also the media buying hacks, which is
No, it's not like upload it and let Pinterest take the wheel.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to work. It's not, they don't have it like that. It's not like Meta. They don't have that much. It's like you really need to still buy media. It's not like manual media buying like natives, like whitelist, blacklist, but it's not let Facebook take the wheel. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. When do you plan to launch a course?
I don't know. In the next, hopefully 30 days.
Cool. Yeah, we'll probably have this video up around then, so we'll make sure to link back if people want to check it out. What else are you two focused on this year?
So a lot. I think it's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Also building, acquisition. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have built out an offer, like kind of like an automated lead gen offer that Esteban, myself, Brandon, our other partner, just started from scratch, and now it's starting to work, and it's like awesome. And it's been a great kind of learning lesson for him to go through funnel testing, split testing funnels, split testing checkout pages, split testing quizzes, analyzing mouse flow. Where is the fall off in the funnel volume? So it's been a cool learning lesson for him. And then in exchange, we've been learning how to make creatives. And now we're at the point, and you and I discussed it, right? And Esteban made like a good point. Pinterest media buying still matters, where like Meta, it really doesn't. So it's all creative now. So we're at the point now, we're starting like a new journey of basically building a sick creative machine. And then media buying is like secondary, you know? And since he's so good with the structures, I would say that's probably like our big Q1 project.
The framework process.
Totally. Talent, the people that manage the talent, coach the talent, getting the deliverables over to the video editors, getting it uploaded by the media buyers, making sure that the testing results are being translated all the way back to the video editors, just getting that system put together. Like we're getting wins with AI, and we have random creators and influencers that work well, but we don't have like a roster.
Yeah.
You know, like we really want a deep roster, 10 to 12 heavy duty converters that like we can just drop into any niche.
All the biggest affiliates, they have it in some capacity. Whether it's them, like we were saying yesterday, whether it's them on camera because they got the gift of gab with creative, or they built out that process.
Yeah. Look, I always kiss Matt Smith's ass. Always, right? I do, dude. I don't care. He's like a very good friend of mine for a long time, but he's just someone I see do it all the time. And I'm always like, how does this dude do it? And obviously he has super creative visuals, but at the end of the day, he's also the talent, and he converts like You know what I mean? Like you could take someone else that wasn't Matt Smith. I don't think it would convert. And that made me realize also too, we've been split testing creators and like, we've got one guy that like, he converts almost every time on almost every script, right? So like when we see a creator convert on 4 or 5 different scripts, it kind of proves to you that the talent and the pitch actually matters, right? So that's kind of like been our big Q1 focus as a team, obviously, you know.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on coming into the affiliate space, man?
Wow, crazy. I mean, yeah, you need to actually like deconstruct your brain to figure that one out. So, but it's been super fun. Like people in the affiliate world is great. It's amazing.
We'll see you in Dubai. You'll be in Dubai.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. I know you'll be in Dubai.
Yes, I'll be in Dubai.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's been super great actually. Like I've been enjoying it a lot, learning new stuff actually, because like I said, I come from the ecom world, so there's a lot of learning there. I'm just like super like workaholic on that side, so trying to learn new stuff every day. So it's been great. And yeah, pretty glad that I'm working with James actually. So it's been super fun.
That's a legend.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this guy's name in the affiliate shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I told him, I'm like, dude, you kind of got like, you entered into the affiliate world and you kind of got like the hookup immediately.
Yeah.
Like I've already gotten past the running network offers piece. Yeah. So you get to run like affiliate offers that you also own and control. Like his first like real offer, he has control of the offer.
It's amazing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's
So rare.
you know, it's like,
exactly.
it's like a different thing, you know, but I do have to speak to it too. Like his work ethic is outstanding, dude. Like it's outstanding. It's scheduled on Saturdays in the morning for 4 hours deep work. Like everything that he's got and gets and does is because of like the effort he puts in and like the curiosity level. Because going back to the other point, a lot of times when you try to transition an ecom person to affiliate, there's like an intellectual arrogance of like, no, I know it works this way. I already saw it work this way. And then you're just kind of like, dude, if you're not curious about how to make it work, I'm not going to be able to show you what works on our end. Yeah. And Esteban is like totally like, yeah, show me. I want to learn it. Let's do it. Let's try it. You know, and that's been like a game changer for us. You know what I mean? Really been a game changer for us.
So basically, yeah, taking the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Super rare. Not most people do this. I told you yesterday, I want to do an event that combines these two worlds. I think there's so much crossover that doesn't get shared.
Dude, Greek out. Dude, it's happening, dude. Yeah. Nick Shackelford is bringing his audience from the D2C e-commerce world. I'm bringing my audience from affiliates and lead gen, and we're going to like lock them both in a house together in Greece for a couple days.
Pretty sick.
Dude, I can't wait, dude. And I'm going to really like highlight it. You know what I mean? Like really like make a point to say, hey, lead gen people, check out these things that they're doing. And then ecom people, check out these things that they're doing. Cause they're really,
you got to pull it out of them sometimes. Yeah. They're not thinking it's special.
Exactly.
But when you see both sides of it, you know, those are the missing pieces on the other.
Correct. Like something that's like basic to me as an affiliate, it's like brand new to them and vice versa. You know, yeah, exactly. There's like a point of depreciating returns, you know, but when someone has never been exposed to it, it's awesome, you know.
Guys, what's as we finish up the video, what is a piece of advice you have for people listening, whether they're on the ecom side or the affiliate side?
Yeah, I think for me, the most important, like I said, build great offers, build great creatives, and build great systems and frameworks. That's how you scale. Yeah.
Oof. Find great people. I think like find great people that are awesome at what they do, that work super hard, but you also like enjoy being around them. Because if you hire a workaholic and you're a workaholic, like you're going to spend a lot of time together. And I think also, man, just be really curious and work really hard. Like don't get caught up in intellectual arrogance, like your way's the best, because it might be the best today, or it may have been the best, but there's probably a new best. And you just always got to be curious. As long as you're in the industry, it doesn't matter. Cause like the new young guns, they know so much shit we don't. They're savages, dude. There's some young guns out there that are sick. And if you don't take the time to learn from them, you're just going to get ran over.
Yeah.
You know?
Fellas, appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.